Hey, this is Andrew Brown. In this video, what I want to do is focus on stack updates and see if we can see what happens if we try to change things in our stack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new folder in our CloudFormation folder here called stack updates. And we're going to go ahead and copy over our template file. And I really do not want to continuously have to upload a file. So I'm just going to grab from one of our many deploy files, a deploy file here, and just paste this into here. And just in case you aren't familiar with this yet, basically what we're doing here is we're using the CloudFormation deploy command here. We're passing the template YAML, which is that file there. We'll give it capacity named IAM. We don't necessarily need to have that on there, but I'd like to have that on there. And we have no execute change set because I always like to manually review my change sets. And in this case, we definitely want to do that because we want to see whether the stack is going to get updated or not. So we'll stick with our very simple example here first with just the bucket. We'll say stack update and deploy CFN stack update. I don't even know why I have that line there. I'll just get that out of there. And this is very simple. It's still using our example here. I'm just going to take out that part and take out the description as we don't necessarily need a description. But yeah, so this should hopefully work. I'll just CD back and we'll go to stack updates here and we'll go ahead and deploy. I'm just working with S3 bucket first because I'm assuming that's going to be very quick. Whereas if we were to use something like an instance, that will take a lot more time, but we might still spin up an EC2 instance in this example. So let's go over to change sets. We'll click into our change set and notice it talks about replacement. Here it says true because there's nothing new. Sorry, it doesn't exist before, so it would have to replace, and we have this on action add. So we'll go ahead and hit execute change set, and we'll go ahead and do that. So we'll wait for that to create. All right, so that is deployed. And so now what we'll need to do is make some kind of change on our bucket. I just happen to have the docs open here. I'm not sure if I pasted it in here, but if we haven't, I'm going to go ahead and place this here. Just so we can quickly get back to the bucket. And I'll just take this part off on the end. So what I'm going to do is change some kind of parameter on here. I'm not exactly sure what I want to change, but something that should be very easy to do, like maybe tags. We'll add some tags. Maybe we can see an example. Maybe it has tags down here, and it does not. So I'm going to go here and just put in tags. And we'll look at its format that it expects. So if we go into here, it's key and value. So key, hello, value, world. And so is this enough to trigger some kind of change? We'll see. And so we'll go back over to CloudFormation, we'll refresh, and we'll have to go to change sets. It's not going to reflect it here. And we'll click into here, and notice that it says modify. Okay, so this one is going to modify, and then notice here that it says replace false, because it can just modify without destroying that there. So we'll go ahead and execute that change set. All right. And we'll just wait for that to complete. All right, so I believe our update is complete there. Let's go back here. I was having some internet trouble, so I'm not sure. Oh, there we go, what state I'm in here. And give it a moment. All right, so I think my internet is back now. I'll give this a nice another refresh. Here we go. Great, and so you know, we saw in our change set what was happening there. Like go back to the last one, whether it would replace it or not, and what the action would be. But let's say we can force a replacement. So this would be really dependent on changing something that is critical to it. And I think that for this it'd be a little bit hard because we would have to, because like for a bucket in particular, it's really hard to replace it because everything that you do onto it is a configuration change. Whereas like if you made a change to a server, I think that would be a better example. So I think what we'll do is we'll launch up an EC2 server, so EC2 instance CloudFormation, so that we can actually observe that change there. So what I'm going to do is go down to examples, and there should be like a very basic one. I know we don't need a lot in order to launch an EC2 instance, and I really want to do the minimum here. So I'm going to change this out. So I don't want the key name. I don't want any of the block device stuff. And all I'm going to do is put in the AMI. So if we go over to EC2 here, we just open that up in another tab here. And we go over to instances and we attempt to launch an instance. And I go ahead and grab this value here. You know what? I think I did another lab where I forgot to shut down shut down an instance. And you know, whenever you're doing any of these labs, just make sure that you double, triple check any of your resources, as you're responsible for them. I am not. But anyway, so I have an AMI in here, and so I've been thinking that this is all I need to do this. It might not be the case, but we'll go ahead and see what we can do here. And so I'll go ahead and do a deploy. So the thing I'm not specifying is like the type. So I'm not saying like instance type. I would expect that it would want that, right? Instance type T3 micro. And I think that's what it is. Instance type. What would this default to? Doesn't say. But I don't think I would trust to deploy this because I don't know what instance type it would utilize here. So it definitely would create a new instance. I'm going to delete this change set as I'm not happy with that. We'll go ahead and try this again. And I feel like this is a much safer bet to do. So we'll go in here and see if we can execute this policy. Okay. So we'll just wait here. And it looks like that is completed. That was really fast. So we're EC2 instance. And so what I want to do is I want to purposely try to trigger this to replace. Probably changing the type would be something that would do that. So if we had a T4G micro, which I believe is a type, and we go over to here, what I want to see in our change set here is that it says conditional, and it says it's modifying. So a conditional replace means if it has to, but it clearly has to because you can't just replace an instance without changing its type. So this is that case there. So I guess this kind of really satisfies what I was looking for in terms of showing you how stack updates work. The thing that we did not show you would be maybe if we were to go into here and just take out the no change execute. As for the most part, I really do always have that on in all our videos. So you're probably not used to seeing it without the change set, without that explicitly turned off. Let's go ahead and just do that and see what happens when we don't have the execute change set in there. And it's still waiting for the change set, so I'm kind of curious, did I not update this file? Oh, it is. So it says creating the change set, waiting for the stack update to complete. So notice that it just proceeded forward, and we did not have an opportunity to intervene there. So yeah, that's not how I like to do it. But like, I just, again, wanted to show you what that looks like. And I'm going to wait for this to finish updating, okay? It actually looks like we ran into an issue. I'm surprised here. So what's the problem? T4G micro is not a valid instance type. So I must have entered it in wrong. I could have swore there is a T4G, which is fine. I mean, it didn't launch. That just saves us some time here. But I'm just going to go take a look here. I'm just curious as to what it is then. T4. Yeah, T4G micro. But it looks like it's not maybe available in the Canada Central region. So that's probably the reason why it's not working there. But that's totally fine, as I did not want to actually create it anyway. So we'll go ahead and delete that. And we'll just clean up our stack here. Once that's deleted, then we will consider this done. I'm going to go over to here, and we'll just commit this code. We'll just say stack updates for this. There we go. And once that's done, we'll wrap this up. I assume this is going to delete successfully, so we'll just end it here, okay?